Well, thanks for joining us. We hope you all have had a wonderful holiday season. I just want to take a few minutes to thank all of you who have taken time through these last 6 months or so to watch these videos, and we hope they've been an encouragement to you. I think the last time we checked, we had been viewed in over 63 countries around the world, and in the United States in 48 states. And we just want to say thanks to all of you who have been viewers, and we hope that, as I said, that this is an encouragement to you in your walk with God. This time of the year is usually a time when several movies make the rounds, and I recently blogged about this, but one of our favorite movies as a family through the years has been the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And of course you know the story of George Bailey, who ended up being a guy who wanted to have adventure. He wanted to leave his small town. He wanted to escape where he was at and see the world. And as you remember the story, George never had that opportunity. Every time he seemed to get really, really close, the door seemed to slam shut in his face. He ended up having to manage the building and loan that his dad had, and after his dad passed away, and then he thought he could get out of there, and he wasn't able to. And so through the years he managed that and stayed in his small little town, ended up getting married, becoming a husband and then a father. And then through a tragic series of circumstances, some money was lost, and George ends up ready to take his own life. He just feels like everything would be better off if he had just died. If he'd just die and just be gone. And all of a sudden a little angel shows up named Clarence, and Clarence gives George an opportunity to see what his life would be like had he not lived. And then he takes him and shows him all of the people that George had impacted, had affected. People who wouldn't even be there at that time had George not been alive to touch their life in some way. And finally, after that vision, as you were, he was able to say, listen, I want to live, God, I want to live. And he was able to come back. Comes back to a house filled with people that are his friends and his family and his wife and his children, and he's filled with joy. And this whole home is filled with people whose lives have been touched by his supposedly simple, ordinary, mundane life. I thank God for the illustration that gives to us. How many times have you sat in a church service and been told how you need to be more committed to Jesus Christ? How you need to be a world changer. You need to be impacting the world. You need to be a superstar Christian. You need to be doing more and surrendering more and yielding more. And you need to be giving more and sacrificing more and living this extraordinary super Christian kind of life. And then you're given example after example of great Christians throughout history who have done wonderful things that have changed the world, and you can be that person. And then you go back to your job as a plumber, or as a housewife and a mom, or as a banker, or as a carpenter, or as a sales clerk at a mall store, and you feel like, my life just doesn't really make that much difference, and you live with guilt. Well, I'm here to tell you today, what you're hearing from most pulpits is a bunch of baloney. God hasn't called you, He hasn't called me to be some kind of superstar, world-changing Christian. In fact, when you read the New Testament, God is interested simply in one thing, and that's a relationship with us. And Him living His life through us on a daily basis in whatever vocation we find ourselves in. Our vocations that God has given to us, they're holy. Everything we do is sacred. It's all important. As someone has said many years ago, if anything matters, everything matters. Our lives are important. In fact, the Apostle Paul, when he wrote to the church at Thessalonica, and he was asking, these people were asking questions about, the Lord coming back and how they should be living, Paul simply instructed them to do something very simple. He said, listen, now as to the love of the brethren in 1 Thessalonians 4:9, you have no need to anyone to write to you, for you yourselves are taught by God to love one another. For indeed you do practice it toward all the brethren who are in all Macedonia, but we urge you, brethren, to excel still the more. And then he says, and to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, and attend to your own business, work with your hands, just as we commanded you, so that you will behave properly toward outsiders, and not be in any need. You know what Paul said the normal Christian life is? It is us, filled with Jesus Christ, obviously, His life in us, loving other people, and growing in the expression of His love through us to others, leading quiet lives, Minding our own business. People were becoming busybodies at that time. Minding your own business, keeping your nose out of everybody else's business, but living a quiet, simple life, getting up, going to work, doing your job as unto the Lord, and working with your hands, do your job, so that as you work with your hands, you receive an income so that you don't have any need, and that what God blesses you with, you can help others who are in need, and live your life in such a way, in a Christ-like character and conduct, that others will see the difference in you, and you won't have any need. God will take care of you. That's it. There's no superstar Christian kind of life there. He says your life matters. So mother, as you're sitting at home today and you're changing baby's diapers and you're feeding baby a bottle and you're sitting there washing clothes and ironing or washing dishes, or sir, as you get up and you get in your van to go out to your carpenter's job each day, or you go to your plumbing job, or maybe you pack up yourself, ma'am, and you go to the mall and you walk into whatever store you work in and you begin to open things up and you are there from 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever it is important. It matters. God wants you to just live your life there with Him filling you, living His life through you, growing in your relationship with Him. And as you're doing that, you don't know, just like George Bailey, your mundane existence, your mundane life, what you consider it to be mundane, is really super sacred. And you don't know how many people you are actually touching and impacting as you live your life every day. You probably won't know this side of heaven, but you are touching lives. It is important. It is valuable. So don't let somebody in a pulpit tell you, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and on and on and on. Just stop and tell them to go should on themselves next time they do that. Because it's most important for you to know that your Father loves you. You are what you are who you are in His kingdom, and what He's placed in your hand to do. Do it with all your might. Do it as unto Him. But it is important. It is valuable. And like George Bailey, you're going to touch people that you never thought you had touched in ways you never dreamed, as Jesus lives His life through you in what you consider to be your simple, mundane experience. May Father bless you in a great way, and spend some time today beholding Him who's beholding you with great love and smiling.